Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome back to another video where I go around and try and get some ace tankers. And this is the fourth time I've tried to record this because baby happened. Anyway, so this is going to be a this is going to kind of be, yeah. And actually, if you're the day I'm recording this, my little one is now 10 months old, which is terrifying. Terrifying. Anyway, baby talk aside, this is going to be a Chinese... No, it's not. This is going to be a communist edition, not a Chinese edition. There's more than one communist country out there. This is going to be a communist edition of chasing those aces. We're kicking off proceedings driving the Tier 6 Soviet heavy tank, the T-150. Now, the first time I played the T-150, I really didn't like it. But you have to bear in mind, the first time I played the T-150 was ages ago. Back when the old KV-1S was still in the game. With the mobility of a medium tank, 8 degrees of gun depression, and a 122mm anti-tank gun that you found on the IS, basically. It was brutal. Somehow it stayed like that for some time. I don't know how it didn't get nerfed. Yes, I'm sure there are people going, because Russia! But seriously, I don't know how that didn't get nerfed. I think it was because I would judge because a lot of new players played it, and so their inexperience counterbalanced the KV-1S's hideously overpowered nature, and so statistically it looked not that amazing, I guess. I'm just speculating. Anyway, this is kind of the T-150, so this was more the spiritual successor. Oh, can we get a kill here? Can we? No. This was more the spiritual successor to the KV-1. Good armor, but won't hold up to higher tiers too well. And, oh, come on. Yes, that kind of sets the scene for a chunk of this game, by the way. And actually a pretty decent 107mm gun, but the gun's not very reliable, and I quite like my guns to be reliable. But 167 penetration isn't bad, and 300 alpha, it means even when you're not top tier, oh hello Mr. KV1, you can relatively quickly start pulling your weight when you're slapping them for 300 every time you pull the trigger. And obviously against lower tiers it's kind of funny. Hello Mr. KV1. Yeah, you didn't really want that, did you? OI manages to actually derp the shot in the ground in front of him. Yes, this is the OI. Looks like the howitzer anyway. And I decide that T-150 is flanking T-150. So, whilst the KV-3 and whatnot are engaging this guy from the front, my gun isn't really up to engaging an OI frontally. So I decide... I'm in a medium tank and we're going to take this guy in the flank and that will be fine. But he decides he doesn't like that, so he goes full on to engage the KV-1S. And I don't know if that was an AP round or a HE round, but either way, speaking of KV-1S, he one-shots the KV-1S. Now he's got a long old reload on that howitzer. He's now engaging a KV-3 who, not sure if he's actually going to shoot him or not, but whatever. I've put 2 shots into the OI's rear. KV-3 or KV-1 should be able to kill this guy. But no, it's left to me. So, okay, there's kill number 3, and I'm up to 1,094 damage. We'll take that. Haven't lost any hit points yet. Scoreline is 5-6, which is... Scoreline is 5-7, which is making me just a little bit nervous. And I have 60% of our team's kills. Now, the first kill was a bit of a kill secure, don't get me wrong, but that's still making me a bit nervous, and my spider sense is tingling, and that MT-25 turns up. And if he gets close to that tank destroyer like that, he can kill him, and then there's a KV-220 turns up, who of course is firing gold, because the penetration on that gun is pretty lackluster. But even firing gold, my gun's better, let's be honest. And now I just need to put one more shot into this guy and he is toast. This is a tier 5 premium, this KV-220 heavy tank, by the way, for the Soviets. Ugh. Another shot into his tracks. That wasn't particularly well aimed, actually, now that we look at it. And it's basically got the stock 75mm gun. from the KV-1, hence he was firing so much premium ammunition. He actually manages to put a couple of shots into me, but in that relatively short time frame, our team have just died, basically. Oh, Challenger, Challenger, be really nice to pick the kill up on this guy, like that, kill number 5. Yeah, so there's only 3 of us left at this point. Well, that didn't take long. This KV-3, basically the other flank just evaporated. So we've got the friendly KV-3 just around there on full health. Me, I've got most of my health left, but of course I'm a tier 6, not tier 7. So nowhere near as much health as the KV-3. And, oh, there goes our artillery. Now, I'm not going to try and chase down an MT-25, I'm just never going to achieve that. Instead, I decide to start off by trying to kill this IKV, like that, and he becomes kill number 6. There's a casual top gun. And the Stug 3 has actually relocated. Now, I reckon KV-3 should be able to take a Stug 3, right? But I'm very conscious here. Oh, of course I get artilleried. I'm very conscious here that I don't want to just plough toward the VK and the IS, or at least their last known positions. That would be bad. And the KV-3 takes out the Stug 3, which is good. Because even if I get there and find them, what am I going to do? I'm outnumbered. And that's just not a particularly great recipe for success, let's be honest. Really could have done without taking that artillery shell there, but never mind. Now, we don't know exactly who it is. It could be the MT-25. It's not, but someone's in the cap circle. And there goes the MT-25, and the artillery misses, which is something. So, and there's another miss from another artillery. Did I mention there are 3 artillery in this match? And oh, there's the IS. Now, good news, bad news. He's going to engage our KV-3. That means I'm left to engage this VK on my own. He hits me and takes out my driver, and I take 2 artillery hits, and I'm stunned, and there's another artillery hit. This is just getting annoying. So, my med pack and my repair kit are all on cooldown, or both on cooldown, which is frustrating. I really need to kill this VK, turn around, and help out our KV-3 with the IS. Now, this guy could kill me. He is using the 88mm gun with 220 alpha damage. I'm spotted, he fires, he bounces, he dies, and then I get nuked by the M44 artillery piece. Which is frustrating. The thing is, if I hadn't gone and dealt with that VK, which left me in an artillery position, if I hadn't gone and dealt with that guy, then our KV would have had a rectal VK. You might just be able to hear the screams of a baby in the background, by the way, but never mind. Or sorry, the talking of a baby. It is what it is. Nonetheless, IS and 3 artillery here. I'm going to speed this along a little bit. So we're watching this KV-3. He's worried about the IS. I hadn't noticed originally, but the KV-3 is actually not fully upgraded. I don't know what gun it is that he's using. Might be the 100mm, which would be the same gun I was using, is perfectly up to the job. Might be an 85mm. Depends just how stocky he is. But he's off searching for this IS. Now, I don't know how much health the IS has. Let's just speed this along a little bit, because the KV-3's really got his work cut out for him at this point. And I just wish him the very best of luck. So, he manages to find the artillery. He puts one of them down, but they just keep blatting him and blatting him and blatting him, which is kind of a problem. So, what's he gonna do? I mean, what can he do in this scenario? He tries to take out the artillery, but they're in our base eating our cookies at this point. And he just starts capping. Which is odd to me, because that guarantees a loss. But, you know, hey-ho, I suppose. And that's the game. So let's have a look at the post-game stats for this one. That was a little bit painful then. We ended up with an ace tanker, obviously. Reaper, Fire for Effect, Duelist, Bruiser, Top Gun for picking up 6 or more kills, a high caliber, and actually a Radley Walters medal to add to the collection for hitting 8 kills there. 2,270 damage, 8 kills, 753 experience before you factor in the bonus for heroic resistance on a losing game. The friendly KV3 in the end still managed 1,000 damage, but that's not as much damage as he has hit points. That's kind of a bit disappointing. And if you look down the performance of both teams, neither team had a spectacular game overall. There were a total of 4 people in the game who did more than 1,000 damage, but it's just overall my team performed worse. Like, we've got that T67 halfway up the leaderboard, 0 damage. Go figure. 18 shots fired, 15 hits, 13 pens for that damage count. 990 damage blocked by our armour. 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 8 enemy vehicles destroyed. Yeah, we had a premium account at the time. I think it was from an event or something. We had made a 25,000 credit profit. It was a good game for us, just not enough for the win. On a brighter note, it turns out that the noise my little baby girl was making in the background is because she'd just discovered how to use a xylophone, which is kinda cute. Ah well, gotta have something to lift one's spirits after a game like that. Speaking of which, I have another game for you, which, well, you'll see. You'll see. So here we go with game number 2. I mentioned there'd be a decidedly sort of communist feel to this, and we have gone from a Soviet tank to a Chinese tank. This is the Tier 7 Chinese heavy tank, the IS-2, not to be confused with the Soviet Tier 7 heavy tank, the IS, the top turret of which is from the IS-2, or the Soviet Tier 7 premium heavy tank, the IS-2, which is different from the IS-2, or the IS with the IS-2 turret. And neither of those are to be confused with the IS-122. Clear? Excellent. Anyway, so we're here on Empire's Border, actually, I think it's called. Yeah, Empire's Border, which I believe is supposed to be a map of northern China. I mean, this, I think, is supposed to be the Great Wall of China. So I guess sort of China, Mongolia sort of area. Anyway, just seems kind of fitting to be driving a Chinese tank on a ostensibly Chinese map. The IS-2 is very similar to the Soviet IS. The main difference is being, one, the front of the tank, the armour is a little bit different in shape. And 2, you get heat ammunition as your premium round instead of APCR. So the Soviet tanks get 217 pen on their APCR ammo, and the Chinese ones get 250 on their heat ammo. Although I don't tend to fire much of it, but, you know. And I don't expect to need it too much in a game like this. Now, we're Tier 7. This is a Tier 7 match, but this isn't 357 matchmaking. In fact, I don't think this is really any of the standard templates. We've got 3 Tier 7s on each team, and then the other 12 tanks are all Tier 6. I guess it's just the matchmaker makes what the matchmaker has to make with, sort of thing. Anyway, we've already lost a Skoda. Oh, look, there's a wheeled vehicle. Okay. Well, he just threw his tank away for no discernible reason. I mean, I guess I got spotted. There's no artillery in this match, by the way, so we're not going to face the same ignoble demise that we did in the T-150. And if we just poke our head round the corner there's a Leo who's going to have a very bad day. 390 alpha damage hurts. Now, the VK is actually slinging HE at us. Is he stock? You don't see that very often. I mean, and we only took 36, so I'm assuming it's from the stock 75mm gun? Which is the 75mm gun from the Panzer IV, if memory serves. It's certainly not the 105, and I expect 88mm HE would also do more. So just there, by the way, I swing back to try and make everyone think I'm going toward the cap circle, and then I actually double back on myself to try and do something about either the VK or the Poodle or this Leo. There's the VK. I do actually get spotted, but I'm not exposing too much of my tank, so boom. Hopefully that did something to him. Now, at the capture circle, the enemy have an E8, the Sherman, and an Oni, and they're facing off against a KV2 and a P43 BIS. Yeah, that's probably going to go the way of the enemy team because they've got the OI basically. And just as I say that, the P43 meets his maker at the hands of the OI, and I really need to start heading back to base at this point. Scoreline is 2-4. Yeah, which is a bit messy. Now, the KV2 to get out of dodge actually holds down the W key, which, thinking about it, isn't a terrible idea. That's faster than trying to reverse out of trouble. It does, however, potentially take him into some hot water, but I can totally see what he's going for. Unfortunately, he does get taken out by the T50-2. Scoreline's 2-6, 3-7. Yeah, well, this isn't looking great. So I have most of my health remaining, and that Oni was being very incautious, and he's actually using the small gun. He's not using the howitzer, which... is it good or is it bad? It's different. Oh, you shouldn't have angled your tank like that, because then I can shoot you and track you. That was a mistake. So the thing with the small gun is it does have better DPM. The penetration is perfectly fine for a tier 7 maximum game. Hello, AMX. Goodbye, AMX. But you don't have the raw kind of derp, obviously, of the howitzer. So it's a choice. I would definitely say when the Oni is bottom tier, the howitzer is the gun of choice. But in this scenario, you can make it work. Now, you may have noticed I actually used heat for that Oni because, frankly, he needs to die. I actually wasted a heat round taking out the AMX. AP would have done perfectly fine. I eat another shell from the Oni and he rolls high, 354. The average damage on that long gun, I believe, is 300. The scoreline is now 7-8, so it's a bit more even, but I don't know. Overall, I'm not feeling amazingly good about this game at the moment. Our friendly VK takes out the enemy T50-2. The enemy Easy 8 Sherman takes out the EBR Hotchkiss on our team. And scoreline's 8-9. We need to kind of make an impact. Hello, Mr. Poodle. How are you today? Well, apparently you're dead. Jolly good. So, if we push down here, we know there was last spotted an Easy 8 to our left. He might still be there, we don't know. Scoreline is currently 10-10, 10-11. People die very quickly in this game. Oh, there's the Easy 8 Sherman. Now, the problem, of course, with the IS-2, same as the IS, is the gun depression, but, you see there, you don't want to expose too much of your tank, because although he only has a 76mm gun, that can definitely chip you away. And, he actually ends up killing the VK in the process. Oof, oof, oof. But, 390 Alpha, and that took his engine out, or fuel tanks, no, it'd be the fuel tanks, I imagine, set him on fire and killed him. Now, I mean, that just smarts a lot. Scoreline is 11-12, I'm on 3 kills so far with 2.2k damage. So this has been a good game for the IS-2, let's be honest. Any tier 7 game where you can walk away and go, I did 2.2k damage, that's a good result. And people are getting quite salty in chat, as often happens with games like this, let's be honest. Now, I do actually load another heat round. I don't think I've ever used this many heat rounds in this thing before, but I didn't want to take any chances against the OI, essentially. And that's the guy I'm kind of expecting to meet next. There goes our Panther M10. And in this sort of scenario, yeah, this is a bit dicey because, well, we know the OI and the P43 around here. We don't know where the KV2 is, but we know where he was last spotted, and we don't know where the SU-100 is either. So this could be dodgy. And I really don't want to risk getting a dubious pen or lack of pen on the OI. And for anyone who watched my videos with the Sentinel, you might have noticed that I loaded an APCR round or two to deal with the OI. At the time of recording this was played at a similar sort of time. At the time of recording this, I'd been having terrible luck against OIs, and this is a waste of a heat round. But there we go, loading an AP round. I've been having terrible luck against OIs, like playing tanks with 250 pen and just bouncing off them, which was getting a little bit frustrating. When you're regularly bouncing on OIs with tier 8 tank destroyers, that gets kind of old, kind of quick. Now, a tree just went down. So that might be the P-43 or it might be the OI, not sure. And we know the Su-100 is to our left, so at the moment I'm kind of relying on that 40 TP to deal with the Su-100, or at least delay the Su-100. I'm spotted, so I'm just going to pull forward so the enemy don't have a penetrating shot. Now the OI could be using the howitzer. KV-2 is probably using the howitzer. In fact, the OI is probably using the howitzer, let's be honest. Okay, the SU is no longer in the cap circle. Oh, tree's gone down. Oh, there's the OI. And as it is, despite loading a heat round to deal with the OI, it's actually an AP round that is able to finish him off. Now, the P-43 tracks me. He's trying to get around the flank. Can't really blame him, but he's just not quick enough. I managed to put the track on, slew round, and blat him in the face. And suddenly, there turns the KV-2. Okay, KV-2 and an Su-100. Thankfully, it looks like that KV-2 should be a one-shot as he's on 230 health, but I'm very conscious that our 40 TP is also a one-shot. I'm slightly curious why the Su-100 and KV-2 haven't already pushed on this 40 TP. The Su-100 could afford to take a shot from the 40 TP if necessary. So they just let me take out the OI and whatever else it was over there. Now the KV-2 finishes off the 40 TP, but as he's fired, I've got all the time in the world to kill him. Oh, there's the Su-100. Okay, he's probably using the big gun, but he completely messes this up. Goes way too far, and we actually finish him off with an ammo rack. And there we go. That ending was a little bit confusing. The enemy team, the wrong pair pushed, I guess. So they had me in my IS-2. I'd taken a bit of a battering, but could take another couple hits before going down. Facing off against an OI who was a one-shot, and it was a medium tank, I think it was the P-43, who was, who I'd previously put a shot into, so, I think he was he was a one-shot. So, 2 one-shots versus a top-tier tank that is not a one-shot. And then on the other flank, you had a one-shot on our team versus 2 tanks who could take a round or 2. And it was the 2 one-shots who pushed against the higher health tank. That was entirely the wrong way round. If the KV-2 and the Su-100 had pushed on our P-43, killed him, which they did anyway, but a bit late, killed him, then I would have been facing 4 versus 1, and I'd have probably died. Oh well, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'll take it. Let's have a look at the post-game stats, I suppose. So that ended up being enough for Ace Tanker, Demolitionist, hurrah! Fire for Effect, Arsonist as well, nice to have both of them. Duelist, Bruiser, High Caliber, and of course a Top Gun there. 3,881 damage, 7 kills, just 1 off a Radley Walters, and there were a couple of times there when we might have gotten 1 extra kill, but I can't really complain. 1,427 base experience. Yeah, I mean, well done, I guess, to the... Was it a P-43? Yeah, he didn't do much damage, but he was able to sit on my flank and deter the enemy team from going for him, it would seem. Which is a little bit curious, but, you know, we'll take it. There were 5 tanks on our team who did 0 damage, which... Yeah, KV-2, VK, Nashorn, OI, and Panther M10. Like, when you're in your top-tier tanks and you're not doing any damage, that's a bit of a problem, but regardless. 13 shots fired, 12 hits, 12 pens for that damage count, most of which was from basically point-blank range, but we did manage to hit that VK with a blind shot for 346, because that was the damage from more than 300 metres. 10 hits received, 3 pens, 6 didn't, 765 blocked by our armour, 9 damaged, 7 destroyed, 3.3 kilometres travelled. And because we did fire, I think it was 3 heat rounds in that match, mostly unnecessarily in the end, but hey-ho, we only actually made like a 9,000 credit profit, but I wasn't really too worried about that. The only heat round that really made a difference was 1 fired at the Oni, and the rest were irrelevant. And even that we might have penned anyway, I suppose, depending on exactly how we'd picked our shot out. But there we go. A couple of games for you there. Tried to pick up, or successfully picking up, ace tankers in sort of mid-tier Soviet Chinese heavy tanks. There are some similarities there. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, there is going to be some suggestions popping up on the screen for more videos to watch, playlists, and subscription if you haven't already subscribed. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.